In that case,
Welcome to Crosstown Cardboard, episode 19, with the spontaneous start time by my buddy Craig at New York City Sports Cards, the teacher of math, the coach of soccer. He's from on Long Island. He teaches in New York City. I'm at Carmine's Cards, otherwise known as just Carmine. I am the sports and news broadcaster by way of Westchester County, New York, is where I was born and raised. Now I'm living in Southern Oregon, and I just took a trip to the Burbank Sports Card Show in Southern California, the greater Los Angeles area, and man, was it busy. That's going to be the main talking points of this show, that Craig has agreed to basically switch full-time jobs with me and become a reporter, a journalist, an interviewer, and just kind of go through my experience there, because I moved some of my biggest cards. I bought and traded for some of my new biggest cards, and it was like a sports card spectacular. So, Craig, we're recording on Valentine's Day. Thank you to our girlfriend for me, wife for you, for letting us record. And I just want to send the love, first of all, over to you, my great friend and podcast co-host.
love right back to you, Carmine. Yeah, you're going to be the star of this show today. You went to the Burbank Card Show. Some would say it's maybe the Super Bowl of card shows, which is ironic because it was also the card show of the Super Bowl.
Right. Well put.
Yeah, but happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. So much love for this hobby. But I want to hear how this went for you, because I could tell from what I've seen, this was by far your most successful card show from so many different perspectives. And I kind of feel like up until this point, you've set up smaller shows, but you're big time now, baby. So let's hear about it. I mean, is there anything you want to kick it off with? I guess I could start with a question. Were you prepared?
I felt like I was totally prepared. No, I felt good about it. I went in there, as we talked about when we had our Cousins collectibles, which, sorry, Cousins, about the Philadelphia Eagles loss and that holding penalty at the end. It was very close Super Bowl. But yeah, I felt prepared. I was buying a lot of Los Angeles Lakers cards heading in. And then I had a lot of my cards, which were mostly autos and game-used jersey or patch cards, in the $100 to $400 range. That actually, to just jump right into the first deal that happened, was on the Thursday, the VIP and dealers only day at Burbank. And so flew down there early Thursday morning, got to the hotel, got a little time to hang out with my boy Jack, who I set up with for all 4 days at NWO Sports Cards. And all of a sudden, so I'm set up, and my now friend Jacob comes up at Contrast Cards, and he's looking at my two cases. He says, I like pretty much everything in this case, and I like a lot of stuff in that case. So I said, well, in that case, what are we looking at? And no, he was like, well, he's like, if we can work out something around 70% of comps, we can talk about a bulk deal. I'm like, well, I'd really like to be around 75%, 80% if we're going to do something like that. So he's like, all right, let's see what we can do. So long story short, we worked out a deal for 20 cards. It was around $4,000, a little shy of 4K. I profited $830, and he got a good deal. He paid around 75% comps. So I'm like, let me move a lot of this stuff quick to a guy who can make more money off it. It's a win-win. And I got around a 20% or so profit on it, and I had that instant money right away. So I felt good about that. Sorry, I think your mic is muted, Craig.
You profited how much, you said?
I profited $828 on a deal that was like $3,900.
Okay, nice.
So I got around 20% profit.
Into that 31 and change. Yeah, I'm doing the math in my head because that's what I love to do.
Yeah. So if you multiply 8 times 5, that'd be 40. So 800 to $4,000, around 20%. So I felt good about it. Get all those cards gone and get that cash quick. And now my boy Jacob has inventory that he wanted too. So that was the first thing on Thursday.
Feels great, right? To now be in a position where you have cash,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially as a dealer.
Yeah, and so I had some cash, some, inventory gone, and then I was like, all right, well, now I'm in a more comfortable position to buy and trade. And so what do you think about that? Quick money and, you know, get some cash in hand.
So I don't know how much inventory you have, but 20 cards, at least for me, that's pretty significant. If someone
Yeah.
bought 20 cards for me, I would be super low in inventory. So was any part of you like, you know what? I kind of want some cash from, sorry, to have some more cards for when people start walking in. You'll probably get better deals from the people, but I guess when the cash is in front of your face, it's hard to say no, knowing the amount of profit you made, right? No need to get
Yeah.
greedy.
Yeah. I didn't want to get greedy and I wanted to have that guaranteed cash right away. And I felt like, okay, maybe I can make an extra, maybe 15%, 10% per card. But the Saturday, which had by far the most people, most of the dealers I spoke with weren't seeing a lot of sales. So at that point, I was grateful that I took the fast, easy money right in front of my face on that Thursday, even though I was wondering before that, like, oh man, maybe I should have held on to some of those to see if I could get closer to top dollar, closer to comps for
Right.
Saturday. But after that, I was happy that I took the smart money and recycled it real quick.
Tell me one card from that 20 card lot that you miss the most.
Probably the Jason Kidd exquisite patch auto that I had. I also had a Barry Sanders flawless auto out of 5.
Holding the trophy, right?
Yeah, his Hall of Fame bust.
I know your inventory, Carmine.
Yes, you do. So those were 2 that I liked, but at the same time, it was a quick move, it was a good sale, and it just felt like it had to be done. So, and that cleared the way for me to be more comfortable about moves that I then made later. At one point, not really bragging, but just being honest, I felt a little worried because I had like $13,000 or $14,000 in my fanny pack, like walking around the show, which for me, I'm sure, some people maybe had more money, but I was like, man, this feels like I'm a mob boss, like 13, 14. And it's funny because my fanny pack is all colorful and like wild. Like sometimes I like to dress like that. And so you would expect,
Good fit though. 10 out of 10
yeah,
fit.
yeah. And I wore my Larry Bird shirt one day. I wore my Magic and Larry Bird shirt the second day. And then I wore my Magic MVP of the All-Star game shirt the third day. So it kind of aligned with what I ended up picking up.
Now, this leads you. So this Thursday show ends. That's when you had all that cash. Friday is when people started showing up.
Friday, more people came in, some steady sales, but really, most of the action for the cards I got was at trade night. So like the schedule that kind of worked out for Friday and Saturday, because Sunday the show was early before the Super Bowl. So it ended at 3 p.m. So Friday and Saturday were the main ones. And I planned out more buying for Sunday because I figured the dealers would be willing to sell. If you haven't sold that much that weekend, you might be a little more flexible on your prices, combined with fewer people coming in to buy, making me feel more comfortable leaving the table with my buddy Jack watching the cards and going out to buy, knowing that I wasn't missing out on a lot of deals. But the Friday and Saturday trade nights were where it was at. So like the schedule on Friday and Saturday was like eat breakfast, go to the show with a packed lunch.
What'd you eat for lunch?
Ham and cheese sandwich,
Okay.
which we went out and went to the grocery store real quick to save some money rather than paying like the Ontario Convention Center, whatever they were charging, and eating, chicken fingers and fries, which actually looked good, but I didn't feel like I could do that.
It's hard to miss on chicken fingers. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe I should have tried them. The schedule was breakfast, card show for like 8 hours, dinner at In-N-Out, which we ate all 3 nights.
Animal style only.
Yes, we did animal style. I got the animal style double and the animal style fries.
Love it.
So quick break for dinner, trade night. So it was just food, show, food, trade night.
I think it's important, by the way, to paint the picture that we're in Southern California, right?
Oh yeah.
Beautiful weather. I don't know how close the show is to the beach, but I would think just being out west, warm weather, Cali vibes, which is way different than the East Coast over here, for example,
Hmm.
it creates like a more laid back environment to these shows and trade nights.
Yeah. And definitely for the trade night, it was really laid back. I mean, I can't wait to put together. I'm planning on 2 different vlogs, like I did the one for the San Francisco card show. This one, I'm thinking right now, the dealer day on Thursday and day 1 Friday as one
Oof,
vlog,
two-parter.
and then and then day 2 and 3 for the part 2 of the vlog. So let's go to the Friday trade night. Craig, as we were talking, we were kind of mentioning through text and Instagram and the Wolfpack group chat, I traded away the Tiger rookie auto behind me, which was bittersweet. But in return, along with a few other cards that I added in, I got this Larry Bird, the dual patch, flawless on-card auto, numbered out of 25, BGS 95, true gem. It's the highest graded of this card. It's a pop 2 in the BGS 95, but the other one doesn't have all 95 subgrades.
And
So that
it's
was
flawless, right? 14, 15, if I remember.
flawless. This one at 14, 15. You got that right. Yes.
Told you, I know your inventory.
Yeah. So that was an incredible pickup. And then I also got this impeccable 1 of 1 PSA 9 with a 10 auto, also Larry Bird, with a game used jersey, 2-color jersey, not a patch though. But those were the 2 ones I got in return for the Tiger rookie auto SP Authentic BGS 95, numbered out of 274. I also added in my Magic flawless on-card auto, numbered out of 25 with the game used patch. My Dr. J gold pulsar jersey number 6 out of 10 from 2014 Prism BGS 95, and the Blake Griffin Chris Paul dual patch flawless numbered 1 out of 10. So it was a 4-for-1 or 4-for-2 trade for 2 Larry Birds, which I would really encourage watching this on our YouTube if you're listening on podcast, just to get a literal picture of what the trade was. So so that was with my boy at Showtime_cards, George. And so we valued it around a 7K trade, I'd say. And I'm coming home with 2 Bird cards that I'm really happy about. Although, some of these moves are bittersweet because that's my grail at the moment, that Tiger.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I guess my first question is, do you miss the Tiger?
Not as much, I don't think, as I like the Birds. And I think we were talking about, we've talked about like, what's my feeling going to be, or anyone who makes a trade or a deal, what's your feeling going to be after that trade is done? And so I was trying to predict that. I've had that Tiger for like 6 months now, or maybe a little bit, maybe not quite as long, maybe 4 months or so. And I was thinking to myself, it's a cool rookie auto of Tiger, but it's a strange number, numbered out of 274. I've had it for a while. The comps are around 3.5 to 4.5K. He gave me 5K value on the trade. We included 3 other cards that I didn't really care about too much, and he gave me a good value on the Dr. J, which the PSA 10 of that Dr. J just went for 300, which was a really bad comp, I thought. And he gave me like 1,000 value on the Dr. J.
Wow.
So, which we both, I mean, there was full transparency both ways. He saw that PSA 10 comp also. So I felt good about where he valued my cards, and I felt good about the rare chance to get a Bird 1 of 1 and one of the best flawless game used sets, which is the dual vertical.
Amazing card. Amazing looking card.
2014-15. Yeah.
What's that? What's that one out of?
It's out of 25.
Yeah, I think that bird, the two birds, is like what you love, right? That's 100% your type of card. You're not
Yeah.
going to see those again. You're obviously
Yeah.
not going to see that 101 again. I mean, I don't look for birds, but I can't imagine many 14 flawless patch autos are just out on the market.
Right.
I mean, those
That's true.
those are cards you're gonna have a lot of hard time parting ways with, I would say,
Yeah.
than any of the
Uh,
four you gave up.
right. Right. And, and I feel like, one of the things that Rob, our Uncle Rob, I should say, at the Sports Card Therapist, likes to say, he brings in his PC, puts it in his case at a very high value, just in case an opportunity comes up. And then he got like his George Mikan rookie, or a different opportunity for a full cash offer comes up that's really strong. And then you're faced with a decision that you might not have thought happened. But I feel like that's why I want to bring some of these cards that I don't shop around often. Like I wasn't shopping either one of my two Tiger autos on like Instagram or putting it up for sale. But I figured bring it to the show just in case you never know what could happen. And so that's what I did. It presented me with, like you said, this rare opportunity for the two birds that I ended up getting.
That's a flock.
Right. That was good. And another side note of the show overall, because I've been to, like you said, this is the biggest show I've been to. I've been to the San Francisco Card Show. I've set up at the San Francisco Card Show and the Portland Card Show. And they don't compare at all to this one, size-wise, and the number of rare cards and unique cards that you see in one room. And then at trade night with an opportunity to not spend cash on the cards that you really like. So this show at Burbank was like 450 tables. I think the Card Father mentioned the.
Did you get a chance to meet him? Seems like a great guy.
I did not meet the Card Father. I saw him, and he was taking videos of like the line coming in as like a proud father.
Fair, rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so for everybody coming into the show, and was running around, and so I didn't want to bother him at the time. But I did speak with the sports card investor, Jeff Wilson, who seemed like, I know he has a lot of like hot takes about him, I guess, and what he does on his videos. My own interaction with him seemed like a genuine, cool guy. The camera wasn't rolling at the time, and he just approached me. He was looking at my cards at one of the trade nights. I think it was on Friday. And he was like, it was Friday because that was the same day after I met him that I did the deal for the two birds, trading away my Tiger rookie auto. And I'm like, he's looking at my cards. I'm like, oh, hey, Jeff, nice stuff. Great following. I'm so happy for your success. And he's like, oh, yeah, thanks. Nice to meet you. And I felt kind of bad because he was looking at my Tiger golf gear auto with the two pieces of the game used jersey that I'll pull up on our YouTube in a BGS 9.5. Beautiful card. And he was like, yeah, I really like this. And he pulled out some stuff for trade. And I felt a little bad because I told him going into it that it's going to be tough to trade for. And I had to kind of turn him away immediately. I said, Jeff, I don't want to waste your time, but that's some cool stuff that you have for trade. It was like a Zion rookie auto, Trae Young select patch auto, a Steph Curry stained glass, nice stuff. But it was like
a lot of fluff.
Yeah, I mean it was good stuff. Like the value probably could have been figured out, but it just wasn't. The rarity and the cool factor wasn't there for me.
That Tiger, sweet.
Yeah. So I told him, I'll have to pass, but I appreciate it. And then I got to film a segment with him later on, I think it was Sunday, that reflecting on the card that he was interested in that then sold. So
you interviewed him.
Yes, I interviewed the sports card investor. Yeah, which you'll see in the vlog also, because I wanted to get his take on how do you decide to sell a card when you have a strong offer, but at the same time you also have a strong tie to that card emotionally and visually and stuff like that. So I was like, what are the factors that you consider when making that tough call?
Good question. That's a sophisticated question, I would say.
Thanks, bro.
Now, couple questions not related to your precise actions, but it seemed like there was a lot of corporate stuff. Was there anything
Yeah.
in particular? Because I was shout out to the Wolfpack. I was doing a Wolfpack episode with Tony yesterday. We were
Mhm.
talking about innovations and things to make shows better, to make them more family friendly, but also just new experiences. Was there anything that stood out to at the show as being like a cool feature? Even something as simple as Beckett was there and you can get grading on site.
That was one of the features that I really liked that I messed up with because I waited until Sunday to get some grading done. Because I personally have never sent off cards for grading
Ooh,
myself.
it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, one of my buddies, I've Jack at Jack B Nimble Cards. I've given some cards to him to look over and then submit, but I've never submitted myself. So I waited until Sunday to go over to Beckett, thinking that I could still get the raw card review before deciding to pay the extra money to submit for encapsulation in their case and full grading. And so I found out on Sunday that they don't do the raw card review because they don't want to leave their cards like in their hands and they haven't had a chance to give it the review and get it back to you. So I just ended up sending off a few cards that I'll talk about in a minute to Beckett. But I thought it was cool on site. They did the full encapsulation if you wanted it for a pretty, I think a few $100. So they'd look it over, quickly slab it, and that was cool. And PSA was there accepting submissions. Not sure if they were doing encapsulation on site. Tag grading was there. Also, SGC was there. CSG and CGC was there. So they had all the grading companies there, which was cool. They also did a kids trade day.
Love that.
I think it was, yeah, knowing you with your card club, I'm sure you would love that.
What were the rules? Assume there's certain rules. Like I remember seeing one shop somewhere that has a kids trade night, and the rule is no cash involved.
Oh, interesting.
Just
I
just
didn't.
cards.
Yeah, that's actually a good rule for kids. I mean, so you can't get fleeced as
Sure.
bad. The likelihood of you getting fleeced card for card is probably not as bad. But I don't know because I didn't check it out, being a little over age. But it did seem like
Imagine you just pulled up and it's a bunch of
I'm like,
12-year-olds.
yeah, I'm like, hey, anybody want to trade for this LaMelo Ball Disco Prism?
Nice.
But yeah, so and they had a panel that was answering the kids' questions, which I thought was super cool.
I like that.
Yeah, so those were cool things that I saw. There was, I don't know about like as far as innovation, the only thing I really noticed was the really cool trade nights every night hosted by somebody different and the Beckett full slab encapsulation.
Nice. So you were there for 4 nights, correct?
Yes.
One more non-card related question.
Mhm.
What were you doing in your downtime like at night?
Honestly, bro, there was not any downtime, hardly.
Sleep, shower, sleep, repeat.
Yeah, I mean, it was really just breakfast, card show all day, dinner, trade night. And so there wasn't much downtime.
Great time.
Yeah, I mean, when me and Jack were in the hotel room, we just watched like either Sports Center, we watched games going on, we watched some Billy Madison was on one night, so that was great. He's a huge Adam Sandler fan, so shout out to Saturday Night Live, filmed in your New York City. So how about we get to Friday after the show, trade night. Oh, we talked about the birds. That was Friday.
Damn,
So
we're only halfway through the weekend.
Saturday
You had
trade
a time.
Yeah. So it was a little bit crazy. I don't know, was it Sunday or Saturday at the show when I sold that bird?
Which one?
The golf gear with the 2 game used patches, the one that Jeff Wilson
Tiger. The tiger. You said bird.
The tiger. Oh, I'm sorry, the tiger.
Yeah.
I'm mixing up tiger and bird because I traded tiger for bird.
Just a couple goats, that's all.
Yeah. So
Now,
it looks like it was Saturday when I sold that. When I sold the other, yes, it was Saturday.
well, since Saturday was so packed, I'm sure a ton of people are walking up to your table with Zion cases. Does everyone say, "Are you buying?" And do you ever say no?
There were a lot of "Are you buying?" And my buddy Jack had the buying sign on our table because the way our table was set up, I had 2 cases, he had 2 cases, and they fit on our table. And we were able to move a little bit of our cases so that I could put out my value box, which ended up being invaluable to
Good.
closing some of the deals. Yeah. So that was cool. And so a lot of people came up saying, "Are you buying?" And I did buy quite a few cards.
But you always
And
look.
always look. I always look. And I say, I like these, but just to let you know, I'm buying at 75% of comps. And maybe I'll pay up to 80 if it's really nice. So I did get a lot of deals at 70, 75% of comps. And so that worked out well. So it was a little bit tougher on that Saturday because so many people were in there. It felt almost like a museum conveyor belt type of feel where so many people were walking by and not that many sales were
I,
happening.
I hope you were drinking water and hydrating.
I was.
Good man.
Yeah, because it was very busy. I moved my immaculate premium patch Larry Bird card, which I think I've showed off on the show before. So I was into that for 600. It was tough to let go. I had a $1,250 price tag on it. And then a couple guys came up and they offered me 800 cash. And I'm like, the last comp wasn't nice to me. So it was at 900 for 1 out of 10. Mine was out of 15, but graded a BGS 9. So I'm like, I'd love to get close to that $900 comp. Big game used patch on it. So I parted with it for 800. And then that was actually on Friday, and then I got 2 much nicer birds. So I guess it was.
Wait, you got the nicer birds first, and then you sold the.
No, I got the nicer birds after on the Friday trade night.
I wonder if that went into your psyche at all. Like, I lost a nice bird today. Gonna have to upgrade.
Maybe it did. And the card universe came back to me. So Saturday, that was the day that I sold. We'll start with the show Saturday, move to the trade night. Saturday, the show was when I sold my golf gear, Tiger Woods on-card auto, BGS 9.5. Really nice card. And this guy came up and he said, he looked at it. He's like, man, that's a beautiful Tiger. This was just after I traded away my Tiger rookie auto for the 2 really nice Larry Bird cards. And so I'm like, yeah, at least I still have that other Tiger. He came up. He's like, I collect Tiger match used clubs. I collect Tiger match used polos and matched used hats. And I'm like, okay, well, this guy, first of all, I knew he had money if he's doing that, because those can't be cheap. A game used driver and
We're talking full memorabilia here.
Full memorabilia match used of Tiger. He's like, yeah, and I would really love to add a cool Tiger. So my price tag on it was $3,500. The last sale was $3,000. Before that, when I traded for it, the last sale was $2,100.
So you got it for.
I was into it trade wise. I traded my Giannis sneaker spotlight auto and a Dirk autographics auto to the guy in Germany. So that's why I thought that trade was cool. Dirk going to a German guy. And so I was into it for $1,930. So I had a $3.5K price tag on it. This guy was like, would you take 2,800? I'm like, I would really like to get $3,000 because I'm like, I'm attached to this card. Now it's my only Tiger auto. So I'm even more attached to it. So I'm like, what about 32? He's like, 2,900 I can do. I'm like, if you do $3,000 even, I'll do it. So he's at 29. I'm at $3,000. And that's how you know I really like this card. If I'm not going to come down $100 more to make $1,000.
You got your limit.
I had my limit. So
something about the nice whole number of the 3,000 too.
That's true too.
Yes.
That's and it being the exact comp
Like 20,
amount.
like 29.99 wouldn't do it.
No, even $29.99.95 for
Oof.
it seeming like a little discount.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, let me look around. So we're stuck at this $100 difference. He goes to look around. He comes back. He's like, well, are you sure you won't do 29? He's like, I want to do 29 and get $100 hobby box also. So he's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, $100 for a card that you're going to really like. And clearly you're into Tiger. I really feel like, I proposed 3.5. You went to 28. And I feel like meeting at 3 is pretty fair. And you coming up just $100 for a card you're going to love. Handed it to him. Gave it to him one more time. He looked at it. He's like, all right, deal. We shook on $3,000. And I have the whole moment in our vlog that's coming out on the Burbank Card Show. So I felt bittersweet about that deal. And I want to get your take on it. I also asked Jeff Wilson for his take on it because that was the one that he was interested in. And I got a few minutes to talk to him on camera, which is cool. You can see his answer on the vlog also. But I like that card, but I don't know if I can turn down $1,070 profit and the full last comp on it to just hold on to that card and not make $1,000.
So I guess, first of all, can you see me? Because you're totally frozen, but
yes, I can see you. And
okay.
we might have to. The good thing is we have some good pictures to show if we need to put some B-roll over our interview.
There you go. So you picked up this Tiger card when?
Like a month and a half ago,
Okay.
maybe
And
2
you
months.
picked up the other Tiger card about a year ago?
Probably like 5 or 6 months ago.
Okay. So you were able to acquire 2 really high quality, nice Tiger cards in a span of 5 to 6 months, right?
Right.
So you'll be able to get one again at some point. So, I mean, you made the profit on it. And I think for me as a seller, knowing that that's going to a collector would make me feel a lot better about the sale. Not that you didn't love and enjoy the card, but it's going to a true Tiger
Yes.
collector. It's going to a good home. That's got to help you feel better about the sale. And you made profit. It sounds like it was a complete win-win from both sides.
100%, bro. And that's what I was going to say too. I mean, this guy came up talking about he collects Tiger clubs, match used clubs. And so you could tell his heart is really in it, which made it easier to part with it. I just did need to hit my money threshold, my boundary of selling it. And so I ended up doing that. And
It was 3, right? Because I think we were cut off there.
yeah, 3K even. He came up that last 100 and it hit my minimum of what I could sell it for, I thought. So, and it was cash right in my face. So it was good. That turned out really well. And then, so I had $4,000 from the sale of those 20 cards on Friday, $3,000 from the sale of that Tiger on Saturday, plus a bunch of smaller sales that I made. So I was feeling really good about it. And that's when I had the 13 grand, 14 grand in my pocket because I withdrew some money that I had ready to go for Burbank. And a side note, if you've been following along with our podcast, you would know that I've been in this Venmo dispute for this other Larry Bird Spectra on-card auto 1-of-1 game used patch. And serendipitously, that Venmo goods and services claim got solved, and I got my full refund of to almost $1,300 while I was at the card show. So I'm like, oh, that feels great. Monkey off my back. This situation got solved. I got all my money back. And so I had that ready to spend also. So my fanny pack was lined with money. And that's where we pick up on the Saturday trade night, which I'm walking into trade night and this guy has his card set up. It's at BDRR_sports cards. Zach. And he does this full time. He's been buying and selling since he was 9. He's now 34. So he's been in it for 25 years. I found out later. So I'm walking into trade night and I'm like, I feel like I'm carded out. Like I've had my fill of cards. Maybe I'll take it easy on this trade night, just look around. because I had been setting up at like the picnic tables they had, just spreading out my cards and seeing who walked up and making sales that way.
Is
So
that what you did for trade night? That important to paint the picture there. Did you have your stuff set up, or were you walking around trade night?
on Thursday and Friday, I did have my stuff set up.
Okay.
And then Friday, when I started walking around, is when I found the birds and traded for them, which was crazy because my guy George at Showtime_cards, and you'll see it in the vlog, he had an exquisite bird and Michael Jordan dual auto just sitting out on these picnic tables. He had I think it was either a LeBron and Jordan or a Kobe and Jordan dual auto with a $65,000 price tag sitting out on this picnic table. It's just like so crazy what you can see at these huge card show trade nights, just like lying out there. Wow. It blows my mind.
Bird MJ exquisite dual auto. Not something you see a lot.
Yeah. And so right before he made the trade for my Tiger and for the 2 birds that I got, he traded for a card that had a $25,000 price tag on it. It was a Kobe auto with the inscription Black Mamba.
Wow.
And I don't know what brand it was, but it was like back to back. Like he did that deal and then made our like 7.5K, 7K trade look like almost chump change after he did the trade for that, which just boggled my mind, the amount of trades and money that was flowing. Yeah. At some of these. Now there's also like much smaller deals that I did too, like out of my value bin and, like $50, $100 just to keep the wheel turning.
Reps. So every rep matters.
Yes. And all that little stuff keeps the wheel turning, keeps, I get a $30 sale, I make 10. I get a $50 sale, make 15, whatever it is. And just little by little, that little snowball. So, and just different strokes for different folks. I mean, whatever you're into, there was a huge variety. So that was just a side story from Friday. And sorry if this isn't totally lining up. It might be a little difficult to follow, but it's just so much of a brain dump from this sports card spectacular of, like you said, 4 days of setting up.
I think you're painting the picture, right? For someone who wasn't there, maybe didn't get a chance to go to the Burbank show, but are listeners of us, or maybe they saw some content. I think it's fun to hear about different shows because I consume a lot of sports card content. Right after the National, I think there's various National recap posts, which of course, why wouldn't you? Right? Mm-hmm. Because it's a spectacular event, right? Everyone's got a different perspective, different point of view. Not everyone got to attend. So for you to be able to give a synopsis of what the Burbank show was like, sounds very positive from everything I've seen, what I'm hearing from you. So good job painting the picture.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. I'm glad it's making somewhat of sense because there was just so much, and there'll be more in our vlogs that I won't get to in our podcast because this is a little bit more of the mentality behind some of these moves. And then you'll see some of the actual moves themselves in the vlogs coming soon. So back to the Saturday night trade night. So I'm walking into trade night. I'm feeling like carded out, all these conversations, which were great, like the great socialization, all the deals, looking up comps, buying, selling, trading. It was great. It just became like an overload at a certain point. So I wanted to take it easy until I walked into the Saturday trade night and I walked up on this, which I'll pull up the picture on our YouTube, Magic Johnson flawless game used patch numbered out of 10. Oof. With a beautiful piece of the lettering of
Looks
one
like
of his
the letter I.
It could very well be the top part of the letter I.
No. That wouldn't be, it would be Johnson, right?
Yeah. It would be Johnson.
No I in Johnson. There's an I in Magic.
That's true. And there's also no I in team, which is how Magic played the game. But sorry. But anyway, so this card really caught my eye as I was walking in. And my guy, Zach.
My eye. Look at that. You didn't even mean that one.
Oh my gosh. It just fell into place.
So good.
So I saw it walking in a trade night, numbered out of 10, game used patch, on card auto, Magic. I had just gotten the beautiful flawless bird. So I'm like, it stopped me in my tracks. So I ended up, long story short, making a trade for 3 cards, a Peyton Manning rookie auto, an Aaron Judge auto, and a Joe Montana auto. Oh, no, it wasn't actually the Judge. It was Montana and Magic, I want to say. Or it was Judge and Magic. I can't quite remember. I'll pull up a picture. You'll see it on the vlog also. And I added $1,000 cash. I'm into it for $1,600. Zach got his value out of it. And then I submitted it the next day to Beckett for grading. So we'll see. It had like one soft corner. I'm hoping it comes back a BGS 9. I'd be happy with. And I went through also in the video that you'll see, hopefully if you come back and watch that, about the grading process, because I had never graded at a show, let alone I hadn't submitted for any grading either. So I kind of went through that process for us rookies in the grading process. So then I had a beautiful flawless Magic and a beautiful flawless Bird together, which is how it should be, and no more Tigers. So also at the I also made a few other moves to pick up this Anthony Davis rookie patch, game used.
First year flawless too. So that's a nice
Yes, good point. 12-13. And this Dwayne Wade rookie auto ultimate collection PSA 10. I think it's a pop 27 on the PSA 10 rookie auto for Wade, who I feel is undervalued.
And is being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. So that could be a time to strike while the iron's hot.
Good point. And this quad golf gear with Tiger, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Justin Thomas snuck into the GOATs here of golf, or at least the GOATs of popularity.
That's a fun card.
Yeah, so this was fun, and I picked that up. I just saw it at a table. So I made that Magic move, and I won't go through all the other moves that I made because you'll get a little teaser for the vlog that's coming out soon. So I got that Magic, I got that Bird, bittersweet, parted with the Tiger autos, and now I'm coming back with more than $10,000 worth of cash in the card fund. So I'm trying to figure out what to do next. Yeah, although I'm just kind of sitting. I want to just take in the craziness and all the moves that were made at the Burbank show before going after more stuff. And I'm telling people, the Bird are not for sale. This flawless 1-of-1 auto Bo Jackson,
sweet,
that I got, that also stopped me in my tracks. And shout out to at Sports Card Machines, Jason. He does it full time. He goes to 50 card shows per year. 50 weeks he's on the road. And he just loves traveling. So, and he makes enough money off the card shows. And interesting negotiation with him, because he told me he was into this for $1,000. And he's told me he recently lowered his price from $1,500. And I'm like, so you lowered your price because you weren't getting offers on it? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, fair. I like his honesty.
Leverage on you.
Yeah. I mean, so he said, I haven't gotten many offers. I'm lowering my price. And so I said, how long have you had it? He's like 2.5, 3 months. I'm like, well, that's not really a good sign if I want to move it. But at the same time, because he's going to card shows every week, you'd imagine he's getting a lot of people coming up. But I said a 1-of-1 auto of possibly the best athlete, dual sport athlete of all time with baseball and football, all-star. I mean, and just an athletic marvel. That was pretty cool to pick up.
Well, it brings up a good point that two people trying to sell the same card, you may be able to sell the card for more than he's able to, just because of your different network, your different circles, right? Who sees your posts.
And yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I looked at his Instagram presence. I'm wondering, what is his does he post it on Instagram? You never know. And you have a rare card. I'm okay really holding on to that, which I already told a couple people on Instagram it's not for sale at the moment.
Until it is.
Until I might get the right offer, or the Tiger autos, bring it to a show or something like that. Real quick, I'll go through a couple more, and then for the others, you'll have to wait for the vlog. How about this Bob Cousy auto that I got? You don't see that very often.
I don't see a lot of Bob Cousy autos, but
so once I got that
great.
cash, my thought was pick up stuff that I don't see very often that is in the room here at the show, and or I can trade for and pick up. Last one I'll show off for my buddy Rob, our uncle and yours at the Sports Card Therapist, because he's a big Hulk Hogan guy. That's top of his pyramid, along with Mickey Mantle. How about this inscription? 12-time champ Hulk Hogan, numbered out of 5. It's a Leaf auto, but I just thought it was super cool, the inscription. And I got it also from the same guy, Jason at Sports Card Machines, that I got the Bo Jackson and the Bob Cousy off of. So he accepted partial trade and some cash and was able to get it done. So those are some of my, again, I recommend watching this on YouTube because, we did go through a lot of cards. But yeah, so that's kind of a quick synopsis of, well, I guess it's not that quick. We're coming up on 46 minutes, 47 minutes.
And you got to get to Valentine's Day.
I know. I got to cook. Thank you for thinking of that in my relationship.
But no, it was great. It was great to hear how it went. I was very excited for you. I never had a doubt that it would go well because I know you were prepared. You know how to handle yourself with people. So that's it. You prepared. You were successful. And take a little time. And by time, I mean, it could end up being a day until a new card pops up on your radar. But no need to rush into the next move, right? Things kind of just happen in this hobby as they do.
Right.
But I'll be set up this weekend. You could live vicariously through me this time.
Where are you going to?
I am setting up at the Garden State Trading Show. The promoter is Laz NYC, and I will be there set up right next to Ken and Uncle Rob. Papa Ken, sports card lessons under Uncle Rob, sports card therapist. I'll be right next to them. New Jersey, hosted by Laz NYC. Can't wait. I haven't set up a show in months, so this will be great.
Let's go, bro. So thanks for my girlfriend is dancing on the side. She's getting ready for me to cook her Valentine's Day dinner.
He's gonna add extra love to it, I promise.
Yes, the special sauce of love into the pasta sauce of the spaghetti and meatballs that I'm about to make. So thanks, bro. So yeah, I mean, thanks for everybody for listening to us go through all my Burbank moves, and hopefully you got something out of it. And I appreciate you, Craig, for stepping aside and letting me kind of take over this show and explain some of my moves, because there were definitely a lot of them. My heart is still pounding. I woke up after trading away my Tiger rookie auto, which, was my grail going into the show. And I'm not going to lie. I woke up like gasping. I was like, oh, my Tiger. When I woke up.
Where is it?
Like literally, that's not a dramatization.
Good word.
Yeah. And then I remembered I had a couple bird backups that I got. So I felt much better about it. And, I've been thinking it over. I mean, the move is done now, but I feel like the practice in those big boy negotiations helped too. It was a huge education in cards, just nonstop, and feel really good about having some extra cash to play with now, and coming home with cards that, like you said, I would have maybe never seen elsewhere or never had the chance to partially trade with and have cash right there to make moves on. So just in a final remark, I feel like the Burbank Sports Card Show was really a great experience for me. Moved some cards and try to recycle it, put that money right back into the hobby. So just thanks for everybody sticking around and hearing basically my journal of how it went, and definitely check out the videos coming, because there's a really cool story on a guy who had a full PMG set of the collector's edition from Upper Deck, all 6. So that's pretty cool that he shares on the vlog. And And then you'll see the visuals and the conversations of all the deals that I made and the fun times, and really get more of a lay of the land of the show on top of what we talked about here today.
Boom. Can't wait to hear it. Good stuff. Let's keep it rolling.
And because you stepped aside so graciously, Craig, real quick before we let the viewers and listeners go, what's your mentality heading into the first card show that you're setting up at in a while? Like, what are you thinking? What are you looking at to pick up, or, moves you're looking to make?
I feel like between the last time I set up and now, I have made what I think are the right moves as far as buying for my inventory. I've consumed content and learned and grown as a collector. So I'm just trusting that I'm prepared. And the fun thing about a card show is I know I'm going to come with new inventory. I just don't know what. But I've always been in the mentality that I don't really go in with a plan. When something just comes across that I just know instantly, we talk about this with a Mount Rushmore. That's my type of card. So I'm confident that I'll be able to turn the inventory that I've acquired into hopefully some PC cards.
That's great. That's great. And that's kind of the same. I'm glad you said that, because that's kind of the same mentality I went in with. A plan with the inventory I was bringing, and then being open to the opportunities that presented themselves. And you never know what you'll see. I mean, I never thought I'd see these flawless bird and magics, this one-of-one bird, and, a few other cool ones that I picked up, that one-of-one Bo Jackson auto. But I feel like everything we're doing, the content we're consuming, the conversations we're having, prepares us for those situations, able to evaluate all the factors, try to figure out, how will I feel after this deal goes down? Am I okay with that? Am I not? Take a deep breath and extend the hand or the handshake emoji and get it done if it feels right. If not, move on. We're still friends.
Amen.
All right, bro. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for letting me get that verbal diary out. I really appreciate it.
Of course. My guy.
All right, bro. Hey, episode 20 coming next week. Can you believe it?
Look at us. 20 and counting.
Yes, sir. Great partnership. A partnership of love between us, bro, for Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to my crossboard, crosstown cardboard family.
Your heart was fluttering. You couldn't even get it.
I know.
Oh my gosh, you were getting nervous. All right, bro. Peace.